questions? Other questions? Anything whatsoever?
Well, I'd like to know, why do we think we can change the whole world's religious views?
Why do we think we can change the whole world's?
Why do we have to keep doing it?
Are you talking about the United States?
Yeah.
In terms of foreign policy?
Well, not just the United States, all the countries try. But what, I'm not really, I know I was in New York right after 9/11. And they were having a parade and they were passing out. It was a holiday, one of their holidays. And I talked to some of the priests and things on the street. They were really upset because it was hurting their belief of what some of these radical people did, which they said is wrong. Right. They admitted that. And they gave me their book of Korean, which I didn't read, but I probably should have. But, you know, I don't think we're going to ever change the whole world. Yes, we can preach Christianity. We can show we're good. We can do things. But we're not going to change the world.
No, well, that's a point. It's a kind of a secular point. In terms of American foreign policy and the exercise of American power, we're not going to change the world, was the comment. And I quite agree that to the extent that the world has ever changed, we're not going to change anything. God is going to change it. We don't have to do it for ourselves. That's one of the wonderful things about His having made us and not we ourselves, and we being the people of His pasture and the sheep of His hand. I think that there is a very kind of messianic strain in American politics that goes back to 1776, popped up again in Woodrow Wilson's day, and has asserted itself since World War II, to the extent that we got what it takes, and other people ought to do what we want to do and follow us. But I don't think it's going to work. I don't think at the same time it cancels out the obligation of Christians. And I don't think you were suggesting that it did, but I just want to emphasize that it doesn't cancel out the obligation of Christians to present what we know as truth, because truth is reality. It is how things are. Up, down, hard, soft, easy, difficult. These are contraries. And trying to acclimate particular fantasies to a church that is dedicated theoretically to reality itself is a losing proposition. So the Christian faith is true. We believe the Christian faith to be true. Or we better get out of here and find something else to do. But yes.
What you're saying is this is kind of, it's alien to most of the secular world, because with them, truth isn't absolute.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
We come with a presupposition that Christianity is true, like you say. So it's true because we believe it to be true. That's our truth. That's our worldview.
Yeah.
To them, it's pluralistic. They can't sense it because it's alien. It's
pluralistic. That's right.
In their mind, it's just beyond them. If you talk to a person that's not, I mean, that's nominally Christian, it's like they think we're completely insane.
You're exactly right. I did address that in Moral Follies, and I think that the cultural point is a very dangerous point that has to be reckoned with as we attempt to assert the one truth of Jesus Christ, because we have multiple truths nowadays. I saw just the other day, reading a review of Stephen Hawking's new book, his bestseller about God, and he's declared God dead or irrelevant. But he says there are multiple universes. And I don't know how he figured this out. Even the reviewer of the book didn't quite follow him. And I had no intention of trying to ferret out the secret of it for myself. But everything is multiple nowadays. Multiple viewpoints, each of which is comparable to each other, and these are the underpinnings of our culture. The idea that there is not one single truth, but a variety of truths, and we must respect all truths. Well, It's just contrary to reality. And it's also part of living in a democratic culture. Now, I don't happen to have the same economic policy as President Obama's advisors, but I acknowledge and respect their right to have policies that differ from my policies, and I respect their right to put those policies out on the table and to urge acceptance of them. It's my duty, when they do so, to argue against them and to tell people, don't pay any attention to that. That's wrong, that's wrong. But nonetheless, we live in a free speech culture, and I, as a journalist, have lived all my life by the gospel of the First Amendment. If you got an idea, put it out there, and if I don't believe it, it's my duty to knock it down. So there's a certain danger in living in a democracy, and it's a great paradox. We're never going to find total clarity. That is to say, the kind of clarity that everybody on earth will embrace. Even within conservative Anglicanism, there will be different viewpoints. There was a time when some conservative Anglicans, Episcopalians, thought you couldn't have candles on the altar. You shouldn't genuflect. You shouldn't wear copes and chasubles and vestments. You ought to stand at the north side of the altar to celebrate the Eucharist. Well, what difference does that make? But it simply represents the notion that we don't even agree among ourselves. But what we need to do is to pray as hard as we can for God to give us light, that He may give us light to understand the truth that He has given us, to lead us into that truth, and then, as we are called, to bring our fellow Christians into that light. And not just our fellow Christians, but those who live outside the community of Christ. That's a very long answer to your question, but I think your analysis is spot on.